Good morning. Do you remember the weirdest question you've ever asked in the first week of a new job? I do, because that question was, do you have a photo of Simon on the toilet? If you're wondering who Simon is, he's one of our co-founders, he's our CEO, and he's also my boss. I'm not going to lie to you. This all began because toilets are funny. There's a whole genre of humor about them, full of funny and silly jokes. But the reality is, toilets are not funny for 40% of the world. And that's because 40% of the world, or 2.4 billion people, don't have access to clean water and sanitation. This is a huge problem. The bad stuff gets into water that people use to clean, wash, and cook with. The resulting diarrhea diseases fills half of the hospital beds in sub-Saharan Africa, and over 900 children under the age of 5 die every day. But there's actually a really simple solution: to build toilets. Toilets improve health and well-being, they improve life expectancy, and they even improve school attendance rates, especially amongst teenage girls. We know that for every $1 invested in sanitation, we see an uptick in $4 of economic productivity. The real question is, where does that dollar come from? And that's why Who Gives a Crap was started. We sell environmentally friendly toilet paper and other products and sell it in the developed world, and donate 50% of the profits to build toilets in the developing world. Now, that sounds like a great idea, but it turns out it's not quite as easy as we thought to start a toilet paper company. We found out we needed $50,000 to fund the first production run, which is a lot of money and also quite a lot of toilet paper to be stuck with if something goes wrong. So our co-founders decided that they would pre-sell that first $50,000 production run by doing a crowdfunding campaign. But they knew that they had to do something a little bit unique to catch attention. This is toilet paper, after all. So Simon, our aforementioned CEO and my boss, decided that he would sit on a toilet for as long as it took to raise that $50,000 and stream it live on the internet.
We're busting to press go on the first production run and create Who Gives a Crap's first edition. Our feel-good toilet paper needs a feel-good price, and for that, we have to order in bulk. But we need $50,000 to make that happen. Basically, we need toilet paper, and like anyone who's waiting for toilet paper, we need someone to help us out. We're asking for your support. We need $50,000 to fill our warehouse with the first bulk order of Who Gives a Crap. And I won't be leaving this toilet until we've raised enough for our first order. I'm sitting down for what I believe in, and I'm not getting up until I've got some toilet paper. $50,000 worth. Till then, you can jump on our website and see me sitting right here on our live feed. So please, bit of help.
After 50 of what sounds like the most painful, never-to-be-repeated hours, we had raised that first $50,000. At this point, though, we had realized we had had absolutely zero interest from retailers, where the vast majority of people were obviously buying their toilet paper at the time. And so we realized we were going to have to sell online. But that gave us the opportunity to think about things a little differently. So we decided to wrap each of our rolls individually with one of 5 fun, unique, well-designed wrappers. We put 3 red emergency rolls at the bottom of every box to remind people that they were about to run out, solving that age-old toilet paper problem. And we set up a subscription service so that you could have an easy and regular delivery. Before it was even a term, and without necessarily intending to, we had created an e-commerce D2C business. We went into production with that first production run, and about 8 months later landed what we thought was around 3 months' worth of stock, and sent that out to those crowdfunding supporters. What happened next surprised us. We sold quite a lot of toilet paper. Our sales doubled day on day, and what we thought was going to last us 3 months actually sold out in 5 days. When we went online, we realized why. People were sharing images of our product. they were giving roles to their friends, family, and colleagues. We had created a physical product that people wanted to share. It took us about 3 months to catch up with the demand, and in that time, we were able to make our first donation to WaterAid. 12 years later, you can now buy us in Australia, the US, UK, and Europe, and we're incredibly proud that we've raised over 13.3 million Aussie dollars. But we're even more excited about what that number will look like in years to come. And so, a few lessons that we've learned along the way. The first is everyone loves puppies. Now, we know we're not the first brand to have learned this, or even the first toilet paper brand to have learned this, but we first discovered this when people started sending photos of their dogs and our toilet paper. And so we thought we should add it into our brand, not just by sticking a puppy on our packaging, but including it in our well-performing social ads, and even using puppy dog eyes in our emails to our lapsed users to get them to come back to us, and it did actually work. But do not fear, we don't discriminate, and we are available to the cat lovers as well. Moving on to number 2, our favorite of all the numbers. Doing good is good for business. We've found that talking about impact is the biggest thing that drives customer loyalty. It is our impact messages that people share the most and engage with. And it's also what people remember us for. Whilst they might come to the brand for the first time because we offer great value or they like the name and the wrappers, it's our donation model that people remember and talk about. And whilst we're incredibly committed to this as our business model, it can also be seen as a type of marketing expense. It allows us to acquire new consumers efficiently and also engage with our existing customers. We often see massive sales spikes on the days that we release our impact report, or when we focus on sustainability initiatives like Earth Day, where we ask people to switch to recycled toilet paper. We try and make this effortless for people. We're not asking people for huge behavior change, but to simply switch with some easy choices. So doing good is at the heart of what we do and why we exist, through sustainability and through impact, but it does deliver on a business perspective as well. It means that for our customers, we are more than just a toilet paper brand. Why, when they switch, they stick to us and they become incredibly loyal. They tell their friends about us, and they even give us as gifts, which is slightly remarkable when you think it is toilet paper. It's why our NPS is consistently over 85, and it's why we're incredibly proud that we're now the 3rd biggest toilet paper brand in the UK. We also believe that doing good is great for culture. The best way for me to articulate this is via my colleague Ryan. On the first day that I met him, he sat me down and said, "Welcome to the team. I know you're not going to be a dick because you've chosen to work at a toilet paper company that gives away its profits." Whilst it might seem trite to always be talking about purpose, it is pretty golden to be surrounded by a team that is truly motivated by our big, hairy, audacious goal, which is what we call our goal to be able to give all people on Earth access to clean water and sanitation. But the reality is, it's obviously easy to forget that in the day-to-day grind of trying to grow the business. And so we spend a lot of time and energy thinking about how we can stay connected to our purpose. We invest in impact trips, sending the team to the field so that we can see the power of the work. I was lucky enough to go to India earlier this year with WaterAid, meeting with communities in schools, in medical centers, and in informal settlements. And it's incredibly powerful to see on the ground the impact that our donations can have. As a UK team, we're lucky enough to be close to each other here in the UK, and so we spend a day every month getting closer to the business, whether that's spending time co-packing in our warehouses, getting out and about with our delivery partners, or having this epic day at the Victorian Sewage Museum in London to learn about WASH closer to home. And I would really, really encourage anyone to go to this. It's a lot of fun, and Petra is a star. And as a globally dispersed team, we invest in bringing the entire company together to ensure that we can stay connected to our purpose and to each other. Whilst that purpose is integral to us, somewhat ironically, potentially, we talk about how important it is that everyone's lives in our team comes before the work that they do. And so we have incredibly generous people policies to enable people to live their best lives. whether that's things like life leaves, which is a leave policy that allows people to take time off when things happen, or slow weeks, where we're able to stop, pause, and reflect on how things are going without the busyness of day-to-day meetings. So that's all great, but it is true that doing good is not easy. We're open to a level of scrutiny that is pretty abnormal for a normal business. Your execs are paid too much. Simon drives a Merc. What about your production workers? Where does the other 50% go? These are the type of questions that we open ourselves up to, and we have to openly answer. And so we do that transparently. We talk to people about where that other 50% goes, driving investment in growth because we think that's the way that we can maximize our donations over time. We publish statements from WaterAid who verify our accounts, and we're open and transparent about why we choose to produce in China and how we work with our factories and third-party auditors to ensure the standards that we expect. And when we get that right, it means people trust us beyond just the impact side of things, and they will step in and defend us when people speak badly of the brand. It means they become incredibly loyal to the point where they will even use our toilet rolls as their wedding cake. Number 5, be human. We're always trying to connect with our consumers in a way that helps them understand that on the other end of that email is a person. Now, this is really fun on the positive side. Like when we get to send a video to a couple who sent us a wedding invite to wish them congratulations with yet another wedding cake made of toilet paper. But it's even more important when things go wrong, being open about our mistakes and acknowledging where we've gone wrong. People will forgive us our lumps and bumps if we're open and transparent about them. A great example of this is Perforation Gate. Now, Perforation Gate is when our first production run of toilet paper arrived after that long, hard 50 hours, and it turns out there were no perforations on the toilet paper that we had sent out. People literally had to get scissors out to get a piece of toilet paper. When we realized this, we very quickly acknowledged our mistake, apologized profusely, and promised people that we would make it up to them. What we found is that most people gave us another shot and have gone on to become incredibly loyal customers. We're pretty sure it would have felt quite different if we hadn't done so. That has stayed with us through the rest, set the tone rather, for how we've operated ever since, even when that means having to show that the entire team was taken down by food poisoning, which is probably pretty fitting for a toilet paper brand. One of the things that helps us do this well is by thinking about the fact that people could share any interaction that they have with us, and us thinking about every moment as potentially being marketing. To us, impact is marketing. Our packaging is marketing. It's a mini billboard. In toilets, in homes, and in cafes, and even on people's doorsteps. Our electric van is definitely marketing, and our customer service is as well. We know that when people are getting in touch with us, it's likely that they're having a bad experience. Their delivery hasn't arrived, or they've got a problem with their subscription. And so it's our customer happiness team's job to try and turn that around and turn them from being a demoter in that moment into a promoter and hopefully a brand advocate as well. And it doesn't stop there. Our tax campaign is marketing. Our email receipts is marketing. And even how we recruit is marketing. We want to think about every single external touch point that people may interact with as a brand. One of the techniques that we use to do that is by thinking about unexpected delight. We don't want to fill every one of those interactions with a hard sell. We know that if we can make people smile, they're more likely to remember us and become more loyal. And so on the top of our tissue boxes, we don't say 20% softer. We tell people that they smell like a fancy candle and to have a nice day. We work on Instagram moments like unboxing. We pop up with a temporary shop on Oxford Street. We play on cultural moments. Thanks. For those that can't see at the back, our toilet paper, the general election, in the middle, prepare for crap. We create limited editions that bring fun, disruption, and innovation to what is undoubtedly an uninspiring category. And of course, we sponsor naked bike rides. This does make our brand more fun, but it also shows customers that we care enough to think about all of those little moments where they might interact with us. In case it hasn't become apparent already, we take the causes that we care about incredibly seriously, but we do that by not taking ourselves too seriously. And so, if your team tell you that the best way to be brought in to an all-company event as the only British exec member is for them to carry you aloft whilst Austin Powers is playing, you say yes. You celebrate your first above-the-line campaign with gusto. And just having a sense of humor in this category is disruptive. When we got started, all toilet paper marketing was feathers, pillows, and fluffy animals, which really has nothing to do with the product. We thought there was a way to talk about a serious issue and a boring product in a more fun and interesting way. And we also thought the not-for-profit sector was too serious and focusing on guilt, and we thought there was an opportunity to engage with consumers that might otherwise be alienated by trying to make some difference. And when we saw that it worked, we doubled down, even when that means making fun of ourselves.
Who gives a crap? Is hipster toilet paper for morons?
Oh God, okay.
I'll have a 3/4 soy latte, please.
This is clearly a publicity stunt. If everyone ignored them, they'd just go away. Don't ignore us.
Catchy and offensive, lowest common denominator name, grow up.
Who are these people?
Idea? Good. Brand name? Bad.
It's sad, I want that name.
Great idea, love it actually. Hate the name. Well, your tweet is crap.
At Simon Griffiths, please change the name of your company as it contains a rude word. If this gets worse at US Customs.
You're a childish and dirty-minded group of people. Thank you very much. Name's part of the whole thing.
Give your social media team a...
How'd that one get in there? So, we're having a lot of fun, but we do need help. At current rates of spending, universal access to a toilet won't be available until 2085, and we want to half that to 2050. But we know that we can't do this alone. It's why, whilst we're proud of our D2C heartland, we know that the vast majority of people are still buying their toilet paper in retailers. And we're incredibly proud and excited to have expanded into retail to add value to the category and maximize our impact. You can now find us in Woolworths in Australia, in Whole Foods in the US, and in Waitrose in the UK. And we should make it clear that we are definitely open to working with retailers that don't begin with W. We work with partners that also want to work together to improve our impact. And so if you ever happen to be flying over our warehouse in Melbourne, you will see that we work together to switch all of their energy to solar panels, but did it in a slightly who gives a crap way. And so my question to you is, what could you do to make a difference? If you haven't already switched your toilet paper, that's obviously a great place to start. But beyond that, what could you do at work to help your company be a better corporate citizen? And as an individual, have you thought about where you're spending your money, and could you do that more consciously? And finally, a lesson I am proud to say I've never had to do to learn: definitely don't sit on the toilet for 50 hours. So those are some lessons that we've learned as we've tried to change the world through toilet paper. And to that, we say, bottoms up. Thank you.